I think one of the hardest things to do in this life is to be able to differentiate who you can trust and who you can't trust. It's a lifelong struggle for all of us. And some of us, we have a pretty clear picture, but sometimes and we think that we have a pretty clear picture until a very, very disastrous situation comes up, and then you see people's true colors then. You see what they're really about. And so for some of us, it becomes disappointing. So what do you do from this point? How do you react to it? We all go through a bitter period, and that's understandable. We're all human. We're entitled to experience bitterness. We're entitled to grieve. We're entitled to feel betrayed, upset, the whole 9 yards. The thing is determining how you're going to deal with that and understand that these are temporary emotions. But some people will use that one instance or that one situation as a reason to be bitter, and they'll be bitter for the rest of their lives. And these are the type of people I'm talking about. See, there are some people in this world that have experienced a lot of trauma when they were young. And there are different types of trauma. I'm not going to go into detail here, but I guess a lot of you have a pretty good idea of the types of traumas that people that encounter when they're younger. And without assistance on how to process it and get through it properly, a lot of them carry that and they channel that as a form of bitterness to the rest of the world. They're okay for a little while, but the minute that something goes wrong for them, they're going from 0 to 100. They're extreme in their emotions. They're like a firecracker. It's like they're great 90% of the time. Everybody loves them. They're wonderful. They're over the top. They're the top of the heap. But the minute they get upset over anything, things that you and I might not consider as important, these people, because of their unresolved traumas, what they'll do is when they get upset, they go totally overboard. And they are worse than a hurricane combined with a tornado. Everybody within their vicinity gets hurt. And it could be anything. It could be something every day that we deal with. Let's say, for instance, you bought a pair of shoes to wear to work the next day, and the dog decided he was going to pee on the shoes because he's a puppy and you're trying to puppy train him. And you know, if you puppy train, you know, you're putting pads all over the place, but you can't put pads in those little small spots. And you happen to bring the shoes home one day, and the dog decides he's going to do his business on your shoes, and you're feeling a certain type of way. Now, you got 20 pairs of shoes in your closet, but you wanted to wear these. Okay, you're feeling a certain type of way, especially if it's crunch time first thing in the morning and you realize what happened. You're upset. But you know what? You get over it after a while. You're not going to be carrying it around all day long, barking at people, having a fit, and road rage in the whole 9 yards. See, that's the thing. If you're training a puppy, puppy's going to do his business all over the place, and the puppy peed on your shoes. Okay, you'll be upset for a little while. You might be upset the day. But when it goes into the day after that, and 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 you still have the puppy, and you still upset over that, then something's wrong. You're taking too long to get over this thing. And then sometimes accidents happen, you know. So that's just a simple case in point to give you an idea. These people take a little bit longer to process what didn't go their way. And they're more likely to play the victim. Anytime that you try to address anything that they haven't done correctly or something that they need to do and they don't want to hear it, they'll turn around and they'll play the victim. Try to make it seem like you're the bad guy. And that's after they've had this long tirade about how hard their life was and blah, 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 blah. And it didn't even have anything to do with what you had to say. It was just something that you said. You offered a suggestion maybe. Or you just said, oh, well, you know what? They could be cleaning something. You'd be like, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, you missed a little spot over there or something like that. Not anything to hurt their feelings. Just simple little observations. That's all. You could be in a discussion about what trip you want to take. And they'll say, well, I want to go to so-and-so. And you'll be like, well, that's a little bit too expensive for us, but let's try so-and-so. All of a sudden, they'll fly off the handle. These are the type of people that we're talking about. These are the type of people that we're talking about. And we all know that one or two. And then they'll go around to everybody else and wonder why in the world you're going to communicate with them. You don't need that. Look, life is tough enough for all of us. I know a couple of people like that. But the thing is I just try to keep my distance as much as possible because, I'm human just like you guys, I offer a lot of suggestions. I offer a lot of advice based on my experiences and hope that it'll help you because it's part of my universal purpose. You all know that by now. But the thing is I have my limitations too. And every now and then I come across that one person or two people that have that same problem. And they'll turn around and they'll just go on and on and on. And I'm just not built for that because I've come from so many experiences where I've seen people with less than what they have do more. So when they come around with their little pity parties and everything, I don't offer that much sympathy. I mentioned before I don't offer a whole lot of sympathy to people because I've seen so many people that come from a place of severe lack be able to accomplish so much in their lives. So I'm not going to prescribe to that. So how do you deal with these people? They're in community. You can't communicate with them. They need help. They need professional help. Ignoring them is not going to help the problem. As a matter of fact, it might exacerbate the problem because, number one, if you ignore them or if you walk away, they're going to feel like you're abandoning them. So that's adding gasoline to the fire. And then if you do that, that also tells them that it's okay for them to keep carrying on like this. However, if you turn around and you confront them, all that's going to do is add more gasoline to the fire because in their minds, they feel that you're attacking them and they're the victim all over again. See, in either scenario, they're still the victim. Either way, it doesn't matter because they're so caught up. Their emotions are on overdrive. They're all over the place. They're just like a firecracker. There's nothing you could do. You can't extinguish it. They're just going on and on. There's no control of their emotions at all because of that trauma. Unaddressed trauma. You talk to some people that have had unaddressed trauma and tell me that they're not always off the chain. Tell me. Tell me about one. You can't because there's a connection. If someone's had a severe trauma when they were younger and it was never ever addressed and it was never resolved, that person has uncontrolled feelings. It goes hand in hand. It doesn't matter how much money you give them. It doesn't matter if you put a ring in their finger. It doesn't matter if you put them through school. It doesn't matter if you give them babies. It doesn't matter if you give them a job. You can give them, but that is not going to extinguish the fact that they cannot control their emotions. You cannot buy their peace. And that's what you're trying to do. By giving them all, I'm being so devoted and patient. That's not going to buy their peace, sweetie. These are problems that existed before you came along. You got to understand that a lot of y'all get involved in these relationships and everything with people and figure because that person's making a life-changing decision and you're making a life-changing decision, you're thinking that the minute you put the ring on their finger, that all the problems that they had before they met you is just going to disappear. You are in for a rude awakening. If they had unresolved issues before they met you, the only difference is they're going to have unresolved issues living in your house with your last name. That's the only difference. So with that being said, I got to drink my coffee. You guys have a great day.